The situation, it's wet because it's been out in the rain all night, and that's good to keep carbon wet so it doesn't fibre out. This is, so the cup, you can sort of see the cup never actually made it into the frame. So the BB failed before the actual carbon failed before the cup even went in there. Obviously I kept pressing in there to see if it would go in on the other side, but yeah, it just failed, just poof, cracked. So this is not true, Harley. This is like a show us the rest of the bike. This is brand new. It's never even been ridden. Right? It's never been ridden, and you can tell this bike's never been ridden because there's no clamp marks. Right? There's no clamp marks up there. Right, so this bike had never ever been ridden. I won't show the brand of the bike. Actually, I put a wheel in the back just for the demo, but otherwise you can see it's never been ridden. It's never been built up. It's still nude. Right side cup eventually went in, and no cracks. No cracks. No cracks. Even got an asymmetric BB. Yeah, this is from one of the biggest brands in AliExpress, eBay. Asymmetric BB, all the whistles, but the quality is just very, very poor. Too light. Also, as you can see, it's never had a break in there at all. So the bike's never been built. Bit sad, isn't it? Design. So you can see it's never had a break on it. But you can see that headset design is very, very bad. There's a gap. So you can see the bike's never been built up. So never been built up. Down here the fork tips. Never been built up. So you can see this bike. Someone's saying, oh, you've crashed it. You're just trying to claim it. No, no, no. This is legit. Never been built. Never been ridden. So we can see just how thin that shell is there. So maybe a few carbon voids in there. Throw a few voids in there for good measure. And then bang. Pop goes the weasel. It's cold now. Just come back from riding Norton Summit. Just did a 303 watts up Norton Summit. Bit of a FTP test. It's cold today. It's winter here in Adelaide, Australia. Whew. Anyway, so that's the context of the frame. I bought it from a website that was recommended by my stalker critic. He's got a blog about me. He always just does these take 20 million word essays about Duronitis. So he critiqued my frames early in the year. So I thought, I'll buy a frame. Well, let's organise a frame from one of the sellers he recommends. And it cost me about, with taxes and stuff, around 800 USD, 700 USD. So depending where in the world it would probably cost you, and that was a sample price as well. I put myself as as a CEO of a carbon company, which I am, a bike seller, and that's so they're getting the sample price. So it still cost me, I think it's about 800 USD, 800 USD it landed, and which that's sample price, right? So for you, it would cost you at least 800 to maybe 1200 USD, depending on the world where you are. And this company was recommended by my stalker, and yeah, so it's super light, very well finished, super friendly sales. And then when I emailed them with the problem, they're like, "Oh, that's your fault. You pushed it in too far." I said, "Well," they said that you pushed the cup in too far. I said, "Well, actually, if you look again at the photo, there's about that much cup sticking out." So the frame failed. Pushing it in, winding it in, proper tools for the job, winding it in, crack. I heard this crack. And that's sort of normal to hear, a bit of a crack here and there. And I was like, that cracked out. Yeah. Keep winding, and then bang! Massive crack around the bottom bracket. And then some people are like, "Oh, you should file it out first. You should get tools and measure." And it's like, what? You have to get tools and measure? Oh, I just bought a frame for $800 or $1,000 USD. Let's measure it to see if it was okay. That's what happens at the factory level. It shouldn't come to you and you have to measure the bottom bracket and then nanogram it, sand it out, and get a what? Bill, you should have sent it to Hambini first. You send your frame to UK, pay Hambini £500 or whatever to inspect it, and then ship another £100 or £200 back to Australia. It's yeah, right. Or you buy a bottom bracket off Hambini for 200 or 300 euros or whatever it is, to fix a problem that should never have been there from the first place. Are you serious? People like my Specialized Epic, Harley, just get one of the yoke things. You're going to spend 200 or 300 or 500 euros or 700 euros when you include your shock and your yoke thing to fix an S-Works bike that should never have left the factory with such a bad design. Like, I don't understand people's concepts there. The fact that you need a Hambini bottom bracket or a Wills Manufacturing bottom bracket or anything, not bagging those products. I'm just saying if you need that, it means that the product you bought was crap house. Right? So this frame that I bought, recommended by the Duranotter Stalker, is crap house. It's shit. It's dangerous. Imagine if a 100 kilo rider bought that frame and they're sprinting in the crits. That's just going to go pop at some point. Or if they hit a bump while they're sprinting or something, so there's going to be an explosive failure. Those products shouldn't be on the market. They shouldn't be sold by AliExpress. They should be sold by eBay. People are like, Harley, name and shame. Why want to name and shame? Many reasons. One reason, the biggest reason, is what if that frame was just a one-off bad one? And what if all the other ones are fine? Or what if that company stopped selling that frame? And all the other frames are fine. But then I've got this video up saying this company XYZ, blah, 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 is really bad. Look how poor the quality, you know what I mean? So it's not really fair. And there's other reasons why I don't want to share it as well. But, and this company sells a lot of frames to other sellers online on eBay, AliExpress, right? Here's how it works. Most people are resellers of frame. I'm a reseller of frame. Specialized, Trek, Cannondale, they're resellers as well. They basically work with engineers in China, various companies, and they all make their frames in China these days. S-Works made in China, Giant, Trek, Cannondale, Cervelo, Bianchi, etc. China. And then they get shipped to Taiwan for the assembly and painting, and then there's less tariffs going to the US market, which is the biggest market. So that's where you see the Made in Taiwan sticker or Made in Italy sticker. That's where it was assembled. But the frame itself, that raw frame, molded, stuck together in China. Where it was painted, it could be Italy, it could be Taiwan, it could be Cambodia, but it was made in China. And then that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But they're made for $200-300 USD, And that's a quote that came from an industry insider that I met at a bike show in Asia a couple of years back, and they're just like, the markup's huge. The markup is huge, and that's insane markup. So, all right. So then we've got this frame. It's failed. Shouldn't be on the market. Now what? Right. So they've said, no go Harleys. Your fault because you pushed it in too far. And I sent them, the email, the photos afterwards showing that, wasn't my fault. It was the factor that the BB shell was just too thin and the cup was too tight. No response. Ghosted. And so people say, do PayPal, buy protection. That doesn't do anything. Except if you bought an $800 frame and then they ship you a pair of socks. Okay. But if there's a PayPal dispute, you lose because they say, it's his fault. He pressed it in too tight. They're like, okay. Sorry, mate. Bye-bye. eBay, when you're buying something off someone and, it comes to you and it's like, doesn't match the product description or blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. But not if you assemble it and it breaks because it's so fragile. And then they're like, well, you got to prove it was our, you know what I mean? So it's just this back and forth and just faffing around. So but in this situation, buyer protection PayPal is you paid $30 or $40 or $50, whatever, for nothing. For insurance, it doesn't even work. So there you go there. That's why I give people the option, don't pay that. It's less fees for me, less fees for you, And one advantage of buying from me is I have a good relationship with these factories, these sellers, because I go through a lot of units and I'm representing, a brand. And so they, if there's any issues, I have more leverage than if you're just a solo person buying off AliExpress or eBay and you have a problem, like, hey, they're like, bye-bye. Not speak English, And that's reality. These pop-up sellers or big ones or whatever, they're just like, yeah, whatever, cool. No, it's your problem. And that's why lightweight carbon frames, the industry loves them. They love them because they break so easy. They break in installation. They break in a crash. They won't break generally if you're just riding along, generally, unless they're really, really badly designed. But squeeze them. You just squeeze it down, shouldn't they? Flexes. It's super thin. So that's interesting there. There was a good podcast recently. I'm so cold. I can't think properly. There was a good podcast recently by the guy at Factor Bikes. Factor, they make a nice looking bike. Make it in China and then ship it to Taiwan. There's a guy called Rob Gillets. I didn't pronounce that wrong. But Rob, he's a very approachable guy, speaks great on camera, and he did a podcast, sort of YouTube-y question thing with, what's his face, Alex Dowsett, the TT rider for the Israeli team, who's sponsored by the Factor Bikes. And so Rob, he's a wealth of information, and he was talking about how, the lightweight bikes, they do a bike called the Van, where it's like 700-800 grams to the frame, really, really light. And Rob's like, it's fine, just riding along, but if you have a crash, or you sit on the top tube, like a chair, then that's not what it's designed for. So that's an issue there as well, is that you can have a durable frame, but if you do have a crash, and someone lands on it, expect the bike's going to break, because it's super, super light. So for me, that's a fantastic product to have if every second counts, and you're just going uphill, But if you're a racer, if you're parking your bike around, or if you're maybe a bit heavier and you do sit on your top tube or whatever, which you shouldn't do anyway because it's bad for your center of gravity, then you probably would be off with like a 900 or a 1200 gram frame. So there you go. So how light's too light depends on your riding style. Anyway, that's the video. Just this is the video you should watch before you buy a Chinese carbon bike. And that even sounds bad, doesn't it? Chinese carbon bike. Because that means everything. Back at 5 years ago, people were like, Chinese carbon bike, that's from eBay. And it's like, well, that means everything now. Your latest S-Works, your latest Pinarello, your latest Factor, your latest Trek, your latest Canyon, your latest everything. It's made in China. The frame is from origin is China. Okay? So I should say now, things to know before you buy a bike off AliExpress or eBay. Okay? Because all the bikes are coming out of China. 99% of them come out of China. 99% of the bikes you walk in a bike shop, the frame is made in China. And that's not an issue. The issue here is product design, after-sale service, things like that. So that's why I stick with a proven factory that makes good stuff, and most importantly, a proven design. All right, BSA bottom bracket that's actually straight and lines up, and you can spin the cranks. It's and there's no creaking. That's what I use. And just stuff that works. Anyway, that's the deal there. If you do want a bike, get one from me, Pragma Bikes, custom paint, boom, boom, boom. Otherwise, if you got the bike at the moment and you're happy with that, stick with that. So just give you a heads up there. You can save a few $100s by buying some cheap, nasty thing that might be not nasty. It might be totally fine, but probably going to ride like a piece of shit, for sure. Some of these bikes are not made by cyclists. They're made by sort of toy manufacturers almost. Tennis racket companies. Just like, we can slap it together and it looks pretty good and paint's alright. Yeah. It's pretty light on the scale. It's 800 grams. Yeah. Sell at a decent price. Get some sales. And for a lot of people, that's going to be okay. Because they're probably not even going to ride it. They're probably not even going to ride it much. Just buy it, ride it for a month or two, pull out in summer, just cruise around the beach. That's fine. But if you want high performance, if you want every second counts, man, for me, that's why I'm riding what I'm riding. Okay? Anyway, see you soon.